Hi guys, Andrea Mills here. I wanted to get to one more video on the lifelong love theme before we move on, and that was what the kids' full names are and what they mean. This is something so many of you asked for, so I want to do that real fast today. I'm not going to put any pictures. I thought, oh, it'd be nice to do like a picture show while I'm talking, but that's not happening. So I'm just going to talk with you today, and you'll just have to imagine in your minds which sweet little person I'm talking about when I'm telling you about their names. So Thomas is our oldest. He's 15 now. He was born in 2002, and he was our first son, and his full name is Thomas Andrew. And the reason we chose Thomas Andrew was, well, for one, I didn't actually have any say over his first name because Tom was the third Thomas in his line. They're not juniors though, but he was the third Thomas, and he said if we had a son, he was definitely going to name his son Thomas. So the first name was settled, whether I liked it or not, which I liked it, so that was just fine with me. But each one of them, Tom's, so our Thomas, then my husband Tom, and then his dad, and then his grandpa, they each have a different middle name, and their middle name came from their mother. So Tom's grandpa's name was Thomas Joe, and then his dad's name was Thomas Ray, and then my husband Tom's middle name is Lee after his mom, which you see her on our videos. Her name's Kitty Lee, so that's where the Lee came from for him. So my middle name is Lynn, and even though Lynn actually is also kind of a unisex name, just like Ray, Joe, and Lee are, I didn't think that Thomas Lynn sounded quite right. So we went with my first name in the form of Andrew. So that's how we came up with Thomas Andrew for him. Beyond that, all of the kids have Bible names. Actually, Thomas is a Bible name too, but we decided that we wanted to go with Bible names for all of the kids. So when I was pregnant with Asher, our son that's 13, I actually liked the name Judah for him, which Judah was one of the 12 patriarchs, one of the 12 tribes of Israel. And, well, he wasn't a tribe, he was a person. The rest of his family is named after him. Anyways, I like the name Judah. But for whatever reason, Tom didn't want the name Judah for that baby. So we were, reading and just thinking about different names, and we both like the name Asher, who is also one of the patriarchs. He's Judah's brother. They do not have the same mother, but they have the same father. Mine have the same mother and father. Anyways, so we picked Asher for his first name, and it means happy. His middle name is Lee, which is Tom's middle name, so I bet you can guess where we got that name from. So Asher Lee is his name. Then our third son is Judah Layne, and Judah, as I said, I liked that name from before, and Judah means praise the Lord, I believe. All of a sudden I'm questioning myself now that I'm telling you these things. But I remember distinctly the day that I knew that Judah was going to come to us. Asher was 2 months old, and my mom and I had been to a well baby checkup with him, and we were driving home, and I just had this moment where all of a sudden I just thought to myself, I can still picture which stretch of the road I was driving on. I just knew I was going to have another baby boy, and I was going to name him Judah. And I was pregnant 4 months later, so I think it was 4 months. They're 17 months apart, so what would that be? 17 minus 9 would be 8, so it must have been 6 months later that I was pregnant with Judah. The middle name Layne is just a name that I liked. I had just heard it, and I liked that name, so there's nothing necessarily particularly special about it. My cousin named his son Layne, and so it was kind of nice still having some sort of family connection with that name too, so that's his middle name, and it's spelled with a Y, L-A-Y-N-E. Next we have Justus. Justus Benjamin is his name. We had actually planned to name him Benjamin in the early part of my pregnancy, but then the day we had the ultrasound, for whatever reason, we just decided maybe we weren't so sure. So we started looking through our Bibles, I guess, basically like reading different names, and we came across the name Justus. And Justus in the Bible was when there were the 12 disciples, and when Judas had killed himself and they were going to replace him with someone else, there were 3 men that they were choosing from, and Justus was one of those men. They did not choose him. He was not picked, but that's who he was in the story in the Bible. Benjamin is just obviously a Bible name, and I liked the name, but my grandpa also had a brother named Benjamin who died when he was young, and so again it was nice to have like a family connection with that name. Next we have Eden Sophire, and between Justus and Eden's births I found a book at the library called Everyone in the Bible, I think, and so we call it the Mills Baby Name Book. So it literally lists every single name that's in the Bible and where this person is referenced, and you can just read a little bit about them, like a synopsis of that person. So that's what we did when I was pregnant with Eden. We started just reading through this book and looking at all the different names, and we both liked the name Eden, so we chose that name. Eden was actually a man in the Bible, and of course there's the Garden of Eden, but in Eden means delightful. But we still thought that was a pretty name for a girl, so we chose Eden for her first name, and then her middle name is Sophire, and that's spelled Sophire, and that was after my great-grandma. That was her middle name. My great-grandma's name was Frances Sophire, and so that was the family connection there, having Sophire for her middle name. Next was Solomon Andros, and I just one day just thought I liked the name Solomon. So when we found out we were having a boy, I said to Tom, how about the name Solomon? And he thought that sounded fine. And then Tom picked his middle name, which is a Greek name, and it means man or husband. Tom had begun learning Greek at that point, and that was just something that he was very interested in, so he decided that he would like to give him a Greek middle name. So Solomon Andros is his name. And then next we have Sophia. Her name is Sophia Faith. Before we knew we were having a girl, Tom came home one day when I was pregnant, and he was practicing his Greek, and he was all excited because the Greek word for wisdom was Sophia, and of course that means her name is from the Bible, because even though it's not like there's not a person in the Bible named Sophia, obviously the word wisdom is in the Bible many times, and the New Testament was written in Greek, so it's actually there in Greek if you read the original one. So he said if we have a girl, he wanted to name her Sophia. So that's when we settled on her first name. Her middle name, I had thought I would use my middle name, which is Lynn, but then this was our unassisted birth, and there was a lot of emotional things going on in our lives, dealing with preparing for that. So that's when I decided I would rather have her middle name be Faith, because it was like a very faith building time for me, a very faith building pregnancy for me. So that's why we named her Sophia Faith. Then we have our little Miss Claudia. Her name is Claudia Lynn, and we used our Mills Baby Name Book, that Everyone in the Bible book, and we just went through and listed the different girl names that we liked. And we actually, this was before we knew if we were having a girl or a boy, so we had our girl list and our boy list. We had chosen Cyrus if it was going to be a boy, and Claudia for a girl, and we had a girl, so that's why we named her Claudia. And Lynn is my middle name that I gave to her, so that's how we came up with her name. I want to tell you guys that because so many of you were interested and like to know about names, so there you go. I so appreciate you guys coming over today, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you again very soon.